Hello, hello once again. Welcome and welcome back. My name is Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. It is sometime in March 2020. I don't know, we're in coronavirus chaos purgatory, and I do find myself a little bit of extra time on my hands. So here we are. And today, while everybody's freaking out and fighting at the grocery store over toilet paper, I wanted to take a look at some of the lunatic leftist nut jobs who are really enjoying this, claiming that we really just need strong leadership. Meanwhile, they're just finding every little way to bash Donald Trump for causing this virus, apparently. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these Instagram accounts. From Liberal Dad, he says, "There wouldn't be anything more poetic than Trump being taken out by a flu that originated in China and has a Mexican beer's name in it." So that he just right on the surface says that he wants to use this to get Trump out. So how deranged, how depraved do you have to be to want people to die just because you don't like Donald Trump? Get a grip, guys. Then we've got, oh God, from Charlemagne the Fraud, one of my personal favorites. I can't stand this man. He's poisoning young minds all over the country. But anyways, he's posted this picture of what looks to be the virus, but the little red dots on it are Naturally Make America Great Again hats, which is just disgusting. Now, I get it. You want to call it a joke, but the left, we all know, cannot meme. They're just such humorless, joyless bunch that just when they don't get their way, they literally scream and cry. Then we've got little baby Jim Acosta, who's mad at Donald Trump for trying to shake somebody's hands at a Rose Garden press conference. He says, despite the fact that he now says he will likely be tested for coronavirus, he was shaking hands in the Rose Garden. So this from Jim Acosta, who said that one of Trump's early speeches just smacked of xenophobia for calling it the Chinese virus, which, again, everybody in the left-wing media was doing just a month or so ago. And now when Trump does it, they flip the whole script, do a 180, and call it racist. Then we've got directly from the Washington Post, the Washington Compost, 10 minutes at the teleprompter, inside Trump's failed attempt to calm coronavirus fears. And this isn't even labeled opinion. This is just an article from the Washington Post. And it's like, okay, if you didn't think he calmed the fears, you're certainly not helping. All you're doing is stoking more fears and saying, stay tuned, sign up for our newsletter, we're going to give you all the coverage. No thanks, Washington Post. We know how you operate. And I'm looking at you, Bezos, you're a part of this. Then we've got again, now from the Washington Post Instagram account, with unprecedented force and speed, a global recession is likely taking hold. All right, so you guys are literally out there stoking recession fears because you know that an economic downturn is the only way you even stand a remote chance at winning back the White House, even though between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, no amount of economic downturn is going to lose this to one of those two people. Then we've got de Blasio over here with Trevor Noah of The Daily Show. Now, this is just a screenshot. I wasn't even, prepared to listen to what these two losers are talking about, but I can only assume he's probably calling for socialism, and Trevor Noah's like, yeah, socialism. Meanwhile, he's a stone cold capitalist making millions of dollars every single day, even in this this corona chaos. Then we've got from an account called Liberal Resistance, a repost of something called Treason Stickers. Did the evangelicals ever figure out why God sent a coronavirus patient to CPAC to shake hands of some of the most powerful elderly Republicans? So, I mean, these people literally will wish death on somebody rather than just take this in stride and look for a brighter future. It's insane to me. Then we've got from D.L. Hughley, who's almost as bad as Charlemagne the God. He's reposted a photo of a New Yorker magazine cover from, I don't know, a week or so ago, March 9th, it looks like, of Donald Trump's face covered up, his eyes covered up by a surgical mask. And it's like, oh, he's blind to the virus. He's not doing anything. Meanwhile, the numbers of the H1N1 or the swine flu don't really look good if you look back on it. I'm sure most people can do their Googles on that. Then we've got from Breitbart, who is a fairly normal publication, but they're reporting on Cher, who said, Trump must be forced to step down because he'll end up killing thousands of Americans. Cher, dressed up like a witch with a blue wig, is saying that Trump is going to kill people. Lady, what are you talking about? I don't get it. It astonishes me every single time how out of touch some of these celebrities are. And then we've got another one. This is a screenshot of a story of an acquaintance of mine. So no, real hardcore blue check. But from her story, she says, a rare example of Donald Trump telling the truth. I don't take responsibility at all. Yeah, well, he didn't create the virus. Some scientists out in China did to get rid of their protesters, and it got completely out of hand. So why should he take responsibility for it? This is why I can't even look at my personal Instagram account anymore, because I realize a lot of San Franciscans are crazy. Then we've got from Valerie Jarrett. She wants to blame this big crowd at an airport of people returning from abroad. And first thing she says in the caption, a president must plan several steps ahead. Okay, Valerie, I guess so. That's fair enough. You want him to predict the future. These people will literally, at any turn, find a way to blame this on the president. And the thing is, you've cried wolf too many times. Teflon Don's not going down. You might as well just bend over and take it. Keep it pushing. Then we've got, from NY1, a little hipster graffiti. Where are the COVID-19 tests? It's like, okay, every hipster in Williamsburg wants to get the test because they think they're going to die. It's like, guys, you smoke weed all day and then you cough a little bit and you say, Donald Trump didn't give me a test. Calm down. You're going to be all right. You are going to be okay. But if you can make Donald Trump look bad, don't let it go to waste. Don't let one opportunity go to waste, you scumbags. Then a little bit more from D.L. Hughley, who's reposting another account called, it looks like, Translate Donald Trump. And he says, Dear President Trump, you cut off funding to the CDC. You fired the pandemic response team. You refused WHO tests. You wasted 2 weeks calling the outbreak a Democratic hoax, which is provably false. He called the narrative, the overreaction by the Democrats, a hoax. And I'm not 100% convinced that it's not a hoax. But I digress. That might be for another video. This is what a failed public response to a pandemic looks like. You broke it. You own it. They're loving it. They are absolutely loving this because they know this is the last-ditch effort at even standing a remote chance. But again, Joe Biden is not going to do it because he's just too old and his brain is turned to mush. And then Bernie Sanders, he's going to crash the economy as a point of policy. So you want the economy crashed? All right, I guess vote for Bernie. Then another one from Liberal Dad again. These people are insane. He said it wasn't real. He said it's contained. He said it would disappear. He blamed Democrats. He shared his hunches. He overruled his scientists. He has failed. He has endangered every one of us. My hair's really on fire. And it's also so funny how they talk about science because these are the same people that think a man can magically become a woman. Wrong. Then we've got Crooked Media. In the first 2 seconds of this debate, Biden and Bernie modeling better leadership on the coronavirus than Trump. I guess so, because they were standing 6 feet apart at the podium to practice social distancing, which is another buzzword that they made up to keep people in line. That flatten the curve. They use these words to treat us like children and, keep us in line. But anyways, so they're standing 6 feet apart at the podium, but they get close enough to bump elbows, and then Joe Biden immediately coughs into his hand while being asked about the virus. And I tried to watch this debate. It was so painful. So painful. I could only get through about 20 minutes of it. Might make a video on it now that I have a little bit of extra time on my hands. We shall see. Then we've got from an account called Liberal Resistance, Barack Obama. Ultimately, the buck stops with me as president. And then they say, toddler in chief. I don't take responsibility at all. They pluck every single thing out of context. It's insane. We can all see through it now. But the derangement levels are just through the roof with these people. Then we've got again from Liberal Resistance. In 2018, Trump fired the entire pandemic response team. Keep reposting this and repeating throughout the campaign. So keep running around with your hair on fire and make sure that you note that something that happened in 2018 is the complete cause of this virus right now, which again, you know, I don't want to jump out the window completely, but I'm not fully sold, right? I'm not fully sold. Oh, all the Hollywood actors and the NBA stars have immediate access to the test. Meanwhile, a 70-year-old here in New York has to, you know, wait in line. It's like, these kind of seem like coronavirus endorsements by big names, but I digress. Then we've got from a local news station out in my hometown of the Bay Area. They post a picture of a, you know, pretty well-known movie theater that says, double feature coming soon, death of the coronavirus plus the end of Donald Trump. Imagine that, being in Oakland, California and limiting your viewership. Like, you think that every single person in the Bay Area is in that bubble that you put up on the marquee, that the coronavirus will essentially be the end of Donald Trump? Wishful thinking, morons. Then we've got from Stop Trump 2020. If you really want to help restore calm across America and cause a huge rally in the stock market, you can just resign. I guess George Takei said that, which is laughable because, again, it's going to be Bernie who, by policy, wants to demolish the economy, or Joe Biden because he can't string together a sentence. And then another one from our good friend Liberal Dad. Karma. Trump's Mar-a-Lago forced to shut down for coronavirus deep cleaning after multiple guests test positive. They're just loving it. They're like, oh, they literally got to the point where they basically said he had the virus, which of course he did not. But they want anybody who stayed at Mar-a-Lago to catch the virus. It's like, come on, guys. This is so bizarre. And then this one we already saw from another account, but now it's got a picture. Now it's got a, you know, cartoon picture of Donald Trump. Wouldn't it be ironic if Trump was brought down by a virus from China named after a Mexican beer? Ha ha ha. It just shows their true colors. You guys are saying the quiet part out loud that you want this virus to bring down Trump, and it's become abundantly clear after everything we've been through. From Russia to Ukraine to impeachment, all this stuff, and now this virus just happens to pop up less than a month after acquittal. It's become abundantly clear that you guys are so deranged that you would rather have, you know, at the rate you're talking, half the population die just to get rid of a man you don't like. Insane. Then we've got this one's really floating around. This was posted by D.L. Hughley, who again is nearly as bad as Charlemagne the Fraud, but I digress. If I get the coronavirus, I am going to as many MAGA rallies as I can. And nobody thought that that was inappropriate. Nobody thought, maybe wishing death and pain on people just because they voted a different way than you is a little bit out of line. Nobody thought that. They thought, yeah, get him, Orange Man bad. You guys disgust me. And then we've got this little cartoon from Washington Post Opinion, so a little bit of credit here for actually titling it Opinion. I don't take responsibility at all. Now, again, why do you guys continue to take things out of context and spoon feed it to people as though they're complete morons? I guess the system works because a lot of people are absolute morons, unfortunately. And then from the Washington Post, not the opinion section, analysis. Older Americans are more worried about the coronavirus unless they're Republican. But let them tell it. Everybody on the right is politicizing this, and the left-wing media and the Democrats are just really trying to do what's best for the American people. I'm not buying it, not for 1 second. Then we've got, our friends over at Know Your Rights Camp, which I guess is loosely affiliated, or actually quite closely affiliated with Colin Kaepernick, and they're complaining because American companies are denying workers paid sick leave. This is proof that they want to use this virus to implement their socialist agenda, and it's just not going to work. We're all going to be fine. Give it a week or two, and we're going to be back to normal. Maybe a month, maybe 6 weeks, but you guys got to calm down. All they want to do is make sure that they have complete control. Like I said, London Breed out there shutting everything down, telling people they can't even get a haircut, and then posting to her Instagram, you should get a flu shot. What? Is it like the flu or is it not like the flu? Miss me with that. I'm going outside. I usually would spend most of my time at home, but now because you say I can't, I want to. Then we've got, from All Out DC, this Antifa account. They're making hard demands based on the virus. 5 demands, nothing more, nothing less. Free healthcare, no work, no debt, free all prisoners, and homes for all. So these people are really give them a foot and they'll take a mile type of people. Free all prisoners and homes for all? How, Sway? Give me a break. Oh, and then we've got the genius Samantha Bee. So far, the only thing Republicans are passing in Congress is the coronavirus. Who's pulling your strings, Samantha? Is it Hillary? You disgust me. Then we've got being liberal. This has a blue check, so this is verified. This is real stuff. Being liberal. Trump 2 weeks ago. The coronavirus is a Democrat hoax. It's not what he said. Trump today. I am declaring the coronavirus a national emergency. Now, depending on who you listen to, this might be some deep state nonsense, a little bit bigger than we're all willing to admit. But the people on the left just love it. They love it. They think Trump's going to squirm and squeal and that he's going to lose the election because of this thing. But I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. Then we've got from liberal resistance. Wondering how the Trumpies 401ks are doing today. Imagine that. Wanting people's financial situation. So at first you just wanted them to get sick and die. And now you're hoping that they lose all of their money just because you don't like Donald Trump. How did we get here? And then from impeached loser, if the coronavirus was a person, and it's just a picture of Donald Trump. I mean, the derangement, I don't know who to blame for this. The media, Hillary Clinton, by way of commanding the media, somebody, George Soros. I don't know who's behind this nonsense, but it is getting out of hand. Then we've got Mayor Bill de Blasio, who a couple days ago went out and wrote this little piece, I guess on March 11th. After weeks of minimizing what has now become a global pandemic, we're hoping for concerted action. Instead, the president remains all but silent on the most important thing, rapid, expansive testing. All right, Bill de Blasio, I do not trust your 7-foot socialist ass as far as I can throw you, but here we are. You're just going to point the finger. And you've got a lot of things to work out before you start blaming Donald Trump about this virus. But moving on, oh God. April Ryan. Real Donald Trump, sir? As you call for unity, you are dividing people, calling this virus the Chinese virus instead of its name, coronavirus or COVID-19. April, it came from China 6 weeks ago. All of your little friends over at CNN were calling it the Wuhan or the Chinese coronavirus. But now that one person on the other side of the aisle says it, you look back and say, well, it's different when we do it. You guys are complete morons. Again, from April Ryan, poll. So she's quote tweeting or quote Instagramming, I should say. Americans don't trust what they're hearing from Trump on coronavirus. I guess so. I don't trust what you guys are telling me about the coronavirus. And then from liberal resistance, once more, he is, re-Instagramming or re-gramming or whatever you call it, some guy who clearly on Twitter has a blue check. What's so effed up about this moment in time is that we're facing a deadly crisis and the president just went on TV and lied about having built a website with Google. Well, we know that's provably false, right? Lied about firing the federal pandemic task force, which happened 2 years ago when we were all, living perfectly good, wonderful lives. And lied about having tests not available or whatever this guy's talking about. They have completely lost it. And these posts alone show that these people are enjoying the misery. They are enjoying the chaos because they think it's going to give them the littlest chance of getting Trump out of office. And if you believe that, I got 3 bridges to sell you here in New York City. So that's it for now. We'll see how this new schedule works out. Until then, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening.